have like the intestinal fortitude to say, hey, you know what, we got this?
So never did I think I was going to quit. Many times have I thought, wow, we really screwed that up. And I mean, there's so many things that like we totally screwed up. But I mean that's a whole book. So I think it just comes with a lot of times like you never know how something is going to work out. And I never like to look back and say, like, I really regret this decision. I try to, like, think, okay, well, the opposite is not making a decision. And so you just have to, I think, realize, like, you're going to screw up a lot. And what's way worse than screwing up is being indecisive and actually not moving forward. So that's kind of how I've tried to stay sane, even when I've looked back and I'm like, oh, wow, we should have done that a little differently. Yes?
So what's next?
So what's next? Well, we're going to be expanding even farther and further. The product has changed a lot. I remember when we first started, I was talking about this with someone tonight. Some of the feedback would say, God, your product sucks. And I used it. I was like, oh, okay. And I would want to hear some of the feedback. And they're like, yeah, you have to push a button. I got stuck at the gate and I would feel really bad. And they'd be like, you should just, I don't understand why anyone would use your product. And that's how certain things used to be. You'd push a button, you'd get stuck, you'd have to have a printout. But I knew that we were going to be making changes. People would say, hey, you should have a mobile app. And I'm like, well, yeah, I know, I want one too. You know what mobile devs charge by the hour? Like, oh my God. And so then, now we've come full circle where we're doing a lot of integrations, right? So the experience is where you can get in and out of a garage easy. You scan in and you scan out. And so what's next is we have a huge focus on that experience from a redemption point of view for customers. How do we make it as easy as possible? So there's the geographic expansion, and then there's the focus on the product.
Do you have anything that's in place to give feedback immediately so in case that happens, you guys are made aware of it?
Oh yeah. So we have so much feedback that people actually rate us poorly, and they're like, I'm only rating you poorly because you keep asking for feedback. And we still ask because it's actually really important in real time to be able to know what are some of the issues that customers are facing. So whether it's in the app or the website, yeah, we have a real solid feedback loop. Yes?
So when I first heard about you, someone told me, and it was like this amazing secret. And I told somebody else, oh my God, look at this, you can punch cheap.fm. And so I'm wondering, where does your growth in a marketing sense come from? Because I don't think I've ever seen an ad unless I missed it. So I assume it's all web and word of mouth and... Or do you advertise and you have a catchy jingle that I would sing if I knew it?
So we do have a jingle. It's called Parking in a Winter Wonderland. We actually do. And one of the stars is here tonight. I think I've already embarrassed the team enough, so I'm going to call him out. We also have a Valentine's Day video, too. And he is also here tonight, different star. So we do different marketing things like that. But most of the advertising is digital. Word of mouth is huge because when people use the product, they love it, and that is huge. But we do a lot of paid advertisements. Yeah.
So I was coming here. I logged in. I've used SpotHero about 5 times in the last week. It's awesome.
Nice.
But I've also noticed that there's another competitor on every single one of those scans, which is ParkWiz. What is it?
ParkWiz, Park this, Park that, Park you, Park me.
Everybody's got a cell phone, and everybody now can scan it. How does your app beat their? Why do people use SpotHero as opposed to whatever it is, ParkWiz?
So there's so many apps. Actually, I saw a presentation where there was 190 competitors, and I'm like, I thought I only had 130. And I actually saw one, Sesame Parking, which I think the guy that made the presentation made that one up. I swear to God. Or is it Mango Parking? One of them was not real for sure. So you're right. There are a lot of competitors, but I think for us, we have really focused on the core cities. So we're only in 12 cities where some of our competitors are in, for example, 150. And so it allows us to really make, have the density and the focus on a product in a way that when we're in your city, we're a lot more relevant, right? So you might open an app of a competitor and there could be, we have 400 locations in Chicago, but they might have 50 or 150 or 3 or in Sesame Parking 0. So, I think we've really focused on that, but again, there are a lot of competitors, and so I think it's the product and the density combined with our relationships.
And why do they brand, so, when you go to those scanners, it says SpotHero and whatever this other brand is, somebody's selling that technology, you guys are in the deal with them, but what's to prevent, is there anything are there exclusivity rights you put in place for the technology, keep you guys locked in? Or, somebody's selling that scan code, right? That goes
yeah, so it's a good question. There is no exclusivity, but the person or the company that makes those scanners, it's not up to really them. They're a service provider for like the building. So for example, if we're selling $50,000 a month per location, and Mango Parking wants to cut some deal with the scanner to block us out, they have to have the volumes of how much money they're bringing to the actual garage, or it's not going to be relevant. So other people can come in and sell, but not really like kind of cut an exclusive deal necessarily. So, yes, in the back. Howdy. How are you, Henry? Yes.
So when you're dealing with so many different advisors at such a higher level, how do you keep the core values of what you want to maintain your company?
So I believe you said with all of the different advisors, how do I guess, keep to my core values?
Why you want to start your company and what your goals are, and that you have a lot of your choice.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of great advisors, and we've got a lot of different, a lot of different feedback. So I'd say, we've still stuck to our core values because we wanted to make parking easier and create a company that Jeremy and I love to work at. And so I think because we do that day to day, and we have great people behind us, not just that work at the company, but our advisors too, we've been able to stick with that. Although it's hard because there's a lot of conflicting advice. So, all right. Well, anyways, thank you for having me, and have a great rest of the night.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. Now you know everything about his company. Now, what I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I know a lot of people have not seen me before, but I'm letting you know I've been doing corporate comedy for over 25 years, believe it or not. I worked for IBM, got tired of working for IBM because they said, we don't need you anymore. So I was outsourced to Taiwan, my job. I was a marketing manager. My whole thing started up when I was a kid. I told my mom and dad I want to be a comedian. They were like, yeah, right, get a real freaking job. Yeah, okay, yeah, right. Not living with me for 30 years. Both of my parents are professors at the University of Chicago, told me I got to get a real job. So I went to college. I went to Cornerstone University, graduated. Then I went to Iowa Hawkeyes to play basketball. I also had an academic scholarship and a basketball scholarship. Taught school for 10 years. That was my real job. Got tired of teaching school because I was knocking kids in the